Hey you guys, welcome to another video. I know I was supposed to pick you all up. I see that I haven't made a video in, I don't know, I think the thing said like 20 something days. I think I was almost hitting like 30 days. And I hadn't even realized, like, no kidding, y'all, the way life be going for me, like, I don't even be realizing it be that long since I made like a video, because I just be going throughout the day to where I don't even be realizing how long it's been since I picked up my camera. And as always, it's not intentionally. Y'all know I just got back to work, so I was still trying to get in the flow of work. And of course, with me opening my own private practice, I'm still like figuring things out with that, getting my office at the building that I'm in situated. So like I had like a lot of things going on to the point where like I just wasn't picking up my camera. But y'all know it wasn't intentionally. Like I don't ever not talk to y'all or give y'all an update because, you know, on purpose. It's always reasoning behind why I may be having like picked up my camera or something like that. So yeah, I've just been like trying to get back in the groove of things and get things going. Honestly, like with my private practice, I've been doing like a lot of marketing. I've also gotten on Psychology Today, Therapy for Black Girls, therapist.com. And I'm thinking about getting on, I think they said Mental Health Match or another one. I can't remember. But I'm trying to get my face out there so people can know I exist with my private practice. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been doing. And then I've also been like leaving my flyers at different businesses and organizations. And I've also been like mailing my flyers out using something called Every Door Direct Mail. It's called EDDM with the USPS post office. And so I've been like getting my flyers out in everybody's mailboxes. I think I not passed out, but I use EDDM. I think I've given out like over 1,000 flyers in people's mailboxes. So yeah, I've been like doing heavy like marketing for my private practice to know that, you know, to let people know that I even exist. So yeah, that's why I've been having my time at between work and building my practice and moving into my office and getting my office set up the way that I want it to be set up, like ordering like furniture and stuff in my office. That's where my time and energy has been. And then by the end of the day, I just be a little tired. So my mind isn't really to like pick my camera up. But nonetheless, I did tell you all that I was going to do a series on how to do assessments, primarily biopsychosocial assessments. And so I was also trying to figure out a way where I can like show you all my computer screen while I talk about the assessments. But y'all, I can't figure it out. I'm not like tech savvy. I'm good on the computer now, but for some reason, I can't figure out how I can show you all my computer screen so you all can see what I'm looking at instead of me just talking to you all. But nonetheless, I said like after I do finish the series, I'm just going to put everything I talked about on a PDF. And if you want me to email it to you at the end of the series, I'll just send you the PDF form in the email. So yeah, I did say I was going to do that. So yeah. I wanted to talk about assessments because I feel like I'm really good at assessments, like all kinds of assessments, just from experience on doing them, you know, for other organizations and of course for my job. And then of course, assessments is something that I'm integrating also like with my private practice as well, doing assessments for like the court system and stuff like that. So I have a lot of experience in assessments, and I really feel like it's something that I could talk about because I feel like I have a good hand on specific assessments. But this one that I primarily want to talk to you all about, because it's like the foundation of an assessment, is a biopsychosocial assessment. And so with this, I put this in like different sections to talk about, but I didn't want to just spill everything out at once. And of course, like I said, if you all want a PDF of this after I'm finished the series, which is probably just going to be like 2 videos, like this video and maybe like another video, I don't mind sending it to you all. Like, I really don't. So while I am talking to you all, I'm going to be reading what I have on my screen because, like I said, I have it on my screen, and then I'm going to try my best to talk back to you all. Okay. So, and this is based on my experience with assessments. Okay. This is how I do my assessments. I know everybody do their assessments differently. Some people have trained to do their assessments differently. This is just how I do my assessments. I don't ever have any paybacks with my assessments. When it's time for audits, I don't have anything negative that the auditors say about my assessments. So I've always stuck to doing my assessments, my biopsychosocial assessments, this way for the past 10 years. And like I said, I've never had complaints, a payback. And so, yeah, I just thought that I'll share my experience with doing assessments with you all. Okay. So the first section of the assessments that I wanted to talk about was primarily like, what is an assessment? Because a lot of people don't know what an assessment is or what it entails. Okay. So I wrote, a psychosocial assessment is a structured clinical interview used to gather information about the client's mental, emotional, social, physical, and environmental functioning. Okay. It also determines their presenting issues, their strengths, their barriers, their symptoms, their risk for safety. And it also includes like providing recommendations for them and creating a treatment plan for them. And biopsychosocial assessments are those things, okay? It is where you are meeting with a client for the first time, of course, after they've signed all of their income consent forms, and you are sitting down with that client to gather specific information about the client to kind of best help them in best practices. So a psychosocial assessment is not a therapy session. It's not therapy, okay? It's not a judgment of character on that client. It's not a list of their symptoms, and it's not a copy and paste document, okay? Every client has a psychosocial assessment based on their specific needs at that time. Nobody's biopsychosocial assessment should ever be the same, like ever. I don't care if you have a couple of people coming into you, nobody's biopsychosocial should ever be the same. Hold on, you guys, I had to take this phone call. Hold on 1 second. So yeah, like I was saying, nobody's biopsychosocial should ever be the same, okay? A biopsychosocial should cover the NASW Code of Ethics, HIPAA regulations, state licensing laws, and whatever your agency documentation standards are, okay? So, you know, every agency that you work for or that you're a part of, you know, they all have their own policies and procedures. So you want to make sure that you're following the agency's policies and procedures, but also making sure that you're using or remembering to use your code of ethics and your HIPAA regulations and standards when you're doing a biopsychosocial assessment on a client. So I have here before a session with the client, right? So before you initially sit down with the client, you want to make sure that you have their referral information. You want to make sure you're looking over the referral information, like going through the documents, like if they had like any previous treatment at a hospital or, I don't know, another agency. See if you can get a release of information to be able to look at that information prior to meeting with them. And that's going to help you a lot before you do their biopsychosocial assessment. Because, you know, some clients aren't as forthcoming in the assessments that you do for them. And so sometimes you have to look at the prior information to kind of gather what you need before you meet with them in that session, if that makes sense. You want to understand the services being provided. You want to confirm time and privacy, and you want to know your mandatory reporting laws. You know what I mean? So like, as social workers, you all know that we are mandated reporters. So if somebody comes to you and say that they want to harm themselves or harm others, you have to report it. If it is a teenager who is a minor and they come to you and say they're getting abused or they're getting hurt at home, you know, we have to report it because we're mandated reporters by state law. Common mistakes to avoid when doing a biopsychosocial is you don't want to over document and you don't want to under document. Whatever the client tells you or shares with you, that's what you want to make sure you put in your biopsychosocial assessment. And then also you want to do not like put your own opinions or your own thoughts in the biopsychosocial assessment. You want to actually put down the facts in that client's chart when you're doing a biopsychosocial assessment. So the next section that I have is section 2, okay? So it has how to conduct an assessment. So like when you're meeting with somebody for the first time, you want to introduce yourself and your role. You know, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm the licensed clinical social worker or the licensed master social worker, and I'm going to do your assessment. Then you want to explain like confidentiality to the client. Then you want to clarify the purpose for the assessment. You know, like the reasoning you're doing the assessment. You want to kind of like build rapport with the client before you just jump in and be like, oh, what's your name? What's your date of birth? What are you here for? What is your background? You know, you kind of want to just like soften them up. Cause it's kind of like they already are feeling some type of like hesitancy sometimes about being in that space to get an assessment done. Or sometimes like they are unsure if they really want to participate in treatment, or sometimes they are, you know, just a little frightened. They don't know the outcome of them even being in the agency to do the assessment. So you kind of want to build a rapport with the client, you know, use reflective listening, ask them certain questions to kind of, you know, do like an icebreaker with the client, kind of just soften them up before you just dive into the assessment. You know what I mean? So yeah, hold on, you guys. The phone is ringing again. I'm so sorry. So yeah, you want to make sure that you are building some type of rapport with the client before you just jump into the assessment. Okay, and then section 3 on my list that I have is you want to move in an organized structure. So you have your presenting problem, what brought them in to seek treatment, mental health history, medical history, substance use history, family background, trauma history, educational and occupational, daily functional, mental status, and risk assessments, and your clinical impression. Now, I would say like if you're not like licensed, they don't like for you to do like clinical impressions or to even like diagnose. But if you're fully licensed, you can go ahead and diagnose a client based on the symptoms that they share with you. So it's like, for me, I don't have it with me, but like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to use my DSM-5 to diagnose a client based on like their background that they share and their symptoms that they share with me. That's how you can diagnose a client based on the symptoms. And then you can go into your DSM-5 and look at, you know, what's in your DSM-5. And then you can give a client a diagnosis based on what the DSM-5 tells you. Throughout the assessment, you want to look at their mood, their behavior, their body language, speech, thought process, hygiene and appearance, and insight and judgment. Okay? You want to look at their body language, how they're sitting, how they're talking. Are they pacing back and forth? Is their thinking coherent? Are they pausing when you're asking certain questions based on like the history? Like, do you feel like their judgment is impaired? Do you feel like they have good insight when you're asking them certain questions? So all of these things you want to observe while you're doing the assessment, okay? Because that's going to determine how you're going to write up your report as well. And then when you are doing your closing with your client, you want to summarize what you heard with the client. You want to work collaboratively with the client when creating the treatment plan and goals, and you want to create recommendations, clarify next steps, and ask the client if they have any questions. Do not just close out your assessment session with the client without asking them if they need any type of clarification or if they have any type of questions to ask you. You want to make sure that the client is comfortable with what has been done, and you want to make sure that you're asking them, hey, do you have any questions to ask me? Hey, is there anything that I can clarify for you? Is there anything that I can better explain to you that you might not understand? You want to make sure that you're working collaboratively with the client to make sure that the client is not only comfortable, but they understand why they had to do this assessments, and then the treatment plan that you and the client are going to come up with together. Okay. So yeah. So those are the different sections that I have, which is opening up the session, rapport building, gathering information, what you're observing with the client while you're doing the assessment, and then how you're gonna close out the assessment with the client. And then section 3, I'm gonna pause here, okay? Because section 3 is a detailed breakdown of everything that we just talked about. So I'm not gonna get into that today, but section 3 is going to be a breakdown of everything that I just listed. And I just have like different bullet points that you all can that we're going to go through to make sure you all understand each section that I just went through. Okay. So like I said, if you want me to send you the PDF of everything that I just talked about in the beginning, let me know, and I can, make sure you put your emails in the description box, or if you want to email me at my email, I'll have that also in my description box for you all to email me. If you want me to email you this first section that we just talked about, just let me know and I'll just send it to you. That way we can kind of follow along with each other if you all want to, because I don't know how to let you all see my screen that I wrote out so you all can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So far I talked about what a psychosocial assessment is, what it's not. I then talked about how to conduct an assessment, the flow of the assessment, the opening session, the rapport building, the organized structure of the assessment, how you're going to observe, and then the closing. That's all I talked about so far. So yeah, I'm going to stop there. And if you all have any questions, or it just seems like I need to better understand something, please let me know in the comments. I don't have a problem with clarifying something or making sure you all understand something thus far, because yeah, I really want people to just know how to do a basic assessment, because I feel like that can open doors for you too. Just knowing how to do a basic biopsychosocial assessment. People be hiring all the time for somebody just to do assessments for them. So for the rest of the day, I got to get ready to go see some clients. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. I got to go see some clients, and then I myself have my own assessment to do today at 4:30. I think I meet with her at 4:30 to do her assessment. So yeah, I have to do an assessment today at 4:30. So I said, why not go ahead and just start my series with you all on breaking down how to do an assessment. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I know it wasn't that long. I know it wasn't, but nonetheless, I just wanted to go ahead and at least start talking about how to do the assessment. So yeah, I will definitely catch you all in the next one.